Last thing I want us to do in this chapter is to see how we can use CrunchIt in order to calculate things like the correlation, the R-squared, and how we get the regression line. If you are given R, it's easy to find R-squared. You simply square it. If you're given the equation and you want to make a prediction, then you just plug in that X value into the equation. But what if we need to take raw data and go through this whole process and find R, find the least squared regression line, and make a prediction? So we're going to use CrunchIt, and I'll show you how to get to CrunchIt from Sapling Plus. And then we're going to actually work through this example together so that you can see how CrunchIt provides us with this output. When we're here in our course webpage in Canvas, if you click on Macmillan Learning, it's going to take you to this landing page for Sapling Plus. So you'll click on this Sapling homepage, this first link, and then it's going to load you into Sapling. Now, because I'm trying to use the student version, this isn't going to show up. It's going to take you directly to your course. Instead, it should look something more like this when you go into that link there in Canvas. But you'll notice here under the very first resource, it says CrunchIt. So that's what I want you to click, and it's going to open up CrunchIt. Now, when you're in your homework for Sapling, anytime that there's a large data set, then it's actually going to link you directly to CrunchIt, and it's going to open up specifically the data that you have. So, for example, in your homework, if we look at the chapter 13 homework, or sorry, this is chapter 15, we go to the chapter 15 homework. So when you're doing this, and this is going to be in Canvas when you're working at specifically, but there are some questions that link directly to data. Here we go. So this is question 12, and there's all sorts of options. There's lots of different software that you can use, but we're going to use CrunchIt. And so when you click on that link, it's going to automatically open up the data set that you need. So that's going to be convenient for you when you're working on your assignments to have this direct link to CrunchIt. So if we need to get different data, then what we're going to do is go to Statistics, and then we're going to go to Regression, Simple Linear. So the Statistics tab, Regression, Simple Linear. And here we'll pick our dependent variable and our independent variable. Noticing that this data set does not line up with the question, so if that happens for your assignment, please let me know. I might be looking at something a little bit differently, but you should have the right data going to your opening in CrunchIt. But for here, so we have our statistics, we have our regression simple linear, and we should have some idea as to which is the independent variable and which is the dependent variable. So in this case, we're going to use the eye width to try to predict the eyelash length. Okay, so the eye width is our independent, that's the explanatory, and then the eyelash, that's the dependent or the response variable. Now, we don't need to do anything else here unless we wanted to go ahead and make a prediction. So if we knew that we wanted to try to make a prediction for an eye width of 1.5, we could go ahead and put it in there. So we hit calculate and you get all sorts of different information. The important one here is the equation. The eyelash is going to be 0.05375 plus 0.3102 times the eye width. The slope is 0.3102, so for every additional centimeter, I believe, in eye width, the eyelash is going to increase by 0.3102. Then another value that's going to be interesting for us would be R, but it's not in this output. So if we want to get our R output, we need to go to a different screen. So here, Statistics, and you go to Correlation. And so here, pick the two variables that you want to get for correlation. So in this case, we wanted eye width and eyelash, and then you'll get your correlation here. If you wanted R squared, you would simply square the value that you obtained by doing the correlation. So you'll have to go into two different places to get the equation and to get the correlation, but that's where they'll be. And then also, when we were in that regression with that simple linear and we made that prediction, I forgot to say something about that. The predicted eyelash at eye width, this is the predicted value. It's the same thing that you would have gotten if you had plugged in 1.5 into the equation. So the computer just made that calculation a little quicker for you.